And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to this week's Gain LinkedIn Live. This week, we're joined by a very special guest called Susan Springsteen. She is the CEO of H2O Connected. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you, Zoe. It's great to be here. It really is. I love chatting with you about startups and scaling up and making it all happen.
Absolutely. So I'm excited about this specific episode because obviously we connected at High Tech, we walked to the floors, we talked more about your journey, which is an incredibly inspiring journey for any startups or scale ups because you're officially a scale up now, right, Susan?
We are. I would no longer consider us a startup.
That's
so
amazing.
That's an exciting milestone in itself.
That's a massive milestone. Yeah, congrats. I love it. And I think it's a really good story for Gain as well, because what we love to do, obviously, with our clients is, start with you at the startup phase and accompany you to this amazing, like you say, milestone that now you're a scale up. And it just feels very special to have accomplished that with H2O Connected. So this means a lot to me, and I'm super looking forward to this conversation. So before we dive into the questions, Susan, do you want to just explain exactly what H2O Connected is and what you're working on?
Sure. We are a woman-owned business established in 2019, and we help hoteliers boost their net operating income through their toilets. So we make a device that goes inside the toilet tank. I have it right here. Installs in seconds, and it's a smart water height sensor that can detect all the different ways the toilet can waste water and sabotage their net operating income and run up their water and sewer bill. So we alert them and we tell them what's wrong, tell them what to fix, and so they can improve their operational efficiency and save water and save money.
Brilliant. Love it. I mean, I did want you to do your whole pitch. We were going back and forth. I was like, I need to hear the pitch because you've really become the queen of pitching over the last year. And I don't know, how many pitches have you done in the last year, Susan, that you've done, or one or both?
Well, I've actually been in 5 national and 1 global pitch competition. I mean, I pitch all the time, sometimes, informally, sometimes just in smaller groups or things like that. So there's 5 where that were actual large competitions. So yes, and I actually advice for other startups: pitch competitions are a great capital efficient way to get the word out about your product, your solution, your company, because advertising is expensive, but through pitch competitions you can get right in front of the right audience. They know who you are. You can follow up from there. It's a great opportunity. And then you can also get funded and you can win money and you can win, there's certainly benefits you can do by winning. And shameless plug, we were able to win an award in all 5 of the national pitch competitions we entered. And then we were sent to India to pitch against 44 companies from 14 different nations, which was a great opportunity. So it was just really worth the time and the effort, and a lot of opportunity came out of it.
Amazing. Yeah, and I think, like you said, and that's something you want to jump on when you are a startup, right? Because that opportunity is not going to be available to you when you are a scale up or obviously enterprise level. So it's, get out there, get scrappy, get pitching, get used to, getting on the stage and talking about your product, because it also puts you in the mindset, right, of like, I'm pushing this forward. I can speak in front of hundreds of people, about my product and confidently, or maybe not the first time so confidently, but I think it's amazing. Yeah, pitch away, everybody, all startups.
Well, if you're the CEO of a company, you're going to be pitching the rest of your life for something, right? For clients, for money, for opportunity. So you're going to be pitching, and public speaking, being up there in front of a large audience, it can be scary, but it's like a muscle. It gets better with practice. So you just need to jump into the arena with both feet. And the one thing that's nice about pitch competitions, truly, there's 2 types. There's your investor pitch competition where you're pitching for money, and there's also the product pitch competitions for something like the hospitality show or High Tech, where you're actually pitching to hoteliers in that case. And everyone's really interested to see what new product is on the horizon. Is this something they can use to give them an edge? And then on the investor side, what new hot company can they invest in? So these pitch competitions tend to draw very large audiences, and they're all audiences I did want to be in front of. These are the people, if it's, for instance, at a HITECH, these are people who could buy my product. That's my customer. So I want them to know who I am and why my product should be in their hotel, and what my solution is, how much I can increase their bottom line, and all those kinds of things. So they're just a great opportunity. And typically they're also, pitch competitions are well advertised. So whoever the sponsor is going to put you on their website. They're going to follow you. They may write you can submit press releases. Sometimes you get a booth at the trade show. And so it just is a great way of getting to know your target audience and being known by your target audience, and drawing potential clients to you that you would never get to meet, or you would have to spend enormous advertising dollars to meet otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. The revenue savings, especially when you're a startup, are significant, and all that advertising. If you're pitching at HITECH, in the EX20 like you did last year, that's amazing. You get your little booth, you get your, a full house, on that prime morning of HITECH. So back to that moment last year, because, we walked the floor together at HITECH this year, and we bumped into loads of your alumni, let's say, from last year, because you had some, you had Yippee, you had a Fixify. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Who else did you have last year that you
Directful was
That's
last
right.
year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we had that cohort.
I think Levy was there last year. I don't think they pitched it. I don't think they were part of E20X last year, but I met Levy, and that's who won this year. Won both awards, People's Choice and the Judges Award. Yeah, it was. I mean, winning something like that is, it's amazing, right? It validates that the brand, it validates product market fit, because I'm pitching to my potential customer base. So that was wonderful. It was wonderful to go up on stage and get my trophy. And the other thing is, it attracted, after E20X last year, my booth was several people. There was a line to my booth to talk about, the Leak Alerter Pro. And so I came home with it was over 100 leads. So of people who were interested in learning more, wanted a trial, just wanted an additional conversation. And those are people who were seeking me out because of the fact that our product is something. With toilet leaks are a huge issue in hotels. One running toilet can waste 7,000 gallons a day and can cost a hotel more than they can make renting the room. So it is, and they don't know unless they have a leak detection device, because there's no water on the floor and no one reports them. So it is a problem that needs to be solved at scale. So anyway, but winning also, as the winner, I was covered by Modern Hotelier. I was covered by, all the press, the different press that covered the hotel industry. So it was, it was a great way. There was a lot of ongoing media exposure that happened after the event. And then we created this sort of group of like-minded individuals that we've kept in touch over the year. And then when we go to other trade shows, we see each other, we get breakfast, we get together, we talk through issues that we're all dealing with, because even if we're solving different problems, we're still facing some of the same challenges. And it's been great to have these, connections of other people that were also in E20X, and to cheer each other on. And it's been great.
Wow. What a year. So you won the competition. things really changed, right? So the last 12 months, can you tell us any other doors that might have been opened in the last 12 months that you didn't have before you did this big push?
Well, certainly we then went and won the Techovation Award at AHLA. So we're the only company to ever win both the an award at High Tech and the AHLA Techovation Award. And when that happened, certainly that sort of sealed the industry's recognition of us as a credible product that they needed to look at. So that opened the doors and to potential resellers. It really makes sense for our product to be part of someone's platform, an energy efficiency or operational efficiency platform, so that folks can now get their leak detection information and water efficiency information through in a combined tech stack. And so that led to an introduction to SmartCon, and which now is, we are partners. Our Leak Alerter Pro is available through their new Neuro platform. And so that just has been a great opportunity for us. So we were able, and there's others that we're looking at for international placement at some point, because, you know, toilet leak detection is a global problem, and we certainly our system is applicable in around the world. So it just has opened up opportunities to work with leaders in the hospitality arena that are providing, you know, solutions to thousands and thousands of hotels. So it's been very exciting.
Yeah, I've loved watching the journey, and I feel like it's been, well, your product's quite unusual in a way because it combines a hardware, you know, unit and a software platform. So, you know, that obviously can bring some complexities. It's you're developing two very different systems at the same time. So how have you managed that, and has the product changed and evolved over the last year at all?
Well, we're in our third generation Leak Alerter Pro now. So when you go to market, you learn things. And so one of the nice things about having in-house product development people in hard tech and in software is that, you know, you can, when you get good market feedback, you can adapt to it. And so we've been able to do that. I think that it is different with hard tech because we started originally just solving leak detection without the wireless component first and without the platform. So our original device was called the Leak Alerter 6000. It's still available on Amazon, and it's a red light, green light alert device, so that the enclosures on the outside of the toilet tank, sensors go inside the toilet tank, and when you flush the toilet, it lets you know if everything's okay or if there's a problem and what the problem is by the way it flashes and beeps during the flush cycle. Then we dialed in the leak detection side first, and then when that was dialed in, we knew that in the long run we wanted to provide a solution for hotels and multi-tenant housing, and that meant it needed to be inside the tank and it needed to give remote response. So that means you're putting a wireless electronic device inside a toilet tank where it basically rains because of all the humidity and the water. So it was tricky. And we use a smart water height sensor that is very, very accurate in detecting not only we can detect gallons per flush and water wasted from all different varieties of problems, and it can detect that down to a fraction of a gallon. It's extremely reliable, and it can detect small issues, very small issues, before they become big issues. There's a lot of benefits to being, inside the toilet tank, and then adding that wireless component to it. So it's very complex, and it often leads to a challenge in getting outside funding, because a lot of your third-party investors are looking for software. It's easier to develop. It can get to market quicker. It doesn't have the complexities of hard tech. But in this instance, you need hard tech to solve the problem. Something's got to it's got to make the decision as to what's wrong, right? So it's worked out well because we have a very deep team that is experts in both areas. We're all on site, so we're constantly, the feedback amongst the various expert sections and teams is in real time. And so we're able to be very efficient. We also are unique in that we manufacture everything in the United States on site in our facility in Coatesville. So a lot of our products are made by returning citizens and those in recovery. We're located in a low-income, high unemployment town. So we're trying to help revitalize the town through the technology companies that we have here. And so we're a big believer in Made in America. So it's also, which can also be a little bit of a challenge when you're doing electronic products, but it all works together. And so it's been a good journey.
Yeah, it's an amazing story what you're doing in Coatesville, bringing back industry. I know it's all homegrown. You've got, you're literally like sitting in the same building with your different engineers, and yeah, it's an amazing journey. So we've spoken about your 12 months ago, your win, some pitching tips, and also how to get the most, I guess, out of pitching as a startup. Product market fit and how that can evolve over time. So let's go to LinkedIn now, because I know that you are quite an avid LinkedIn user. So how has that played a role in the last 12 months of your development?
Well, I know this probably wasn't your intent of this, but I really have you to thank for that. I knew that I wanted to use LinkedIn. I just didn't know. I was looking at it more of Facebook for business, right? So I knew I wasn't looking at it right. And when you're a startup entrepreneur, you're a CEO, you're drinking out of a fire hose. You don't have time, at least I didn't have time to be really thinking through what kind of posts, how to set it up, how to be efficient, how to make sure that, and I know you can schedule posts and things like that, but there's a learning curve to any of this. And so I just wasn't sure. So my page was very lackluster. It wasn't intentional. I kind of threw things up there that were not, again, they weren't as well thought through. And what you and I have been able to do over the last year, or I guess it's been about, I don't know how long it's been, seems like it's been a year, is really just the page layout is so much more professional. And that's the first thing people see, the picture, the page layout, what's on, how do you describe yourself in those several words, those 7 words that are next to your name? And how do you decide who to accept, who not to accept? Because you're going to get bombarded with everybody wanting to connect because they want to sell you something. So how do you know who to accept? How do you round out who your followers are? How do you track the right followers? What do you post about? How often? How do you comment meaningfully on other people's posts and to generate, the kind of brand awareness, but also tone of voice, and so that the authentic nature of who I am comes through in what I'm posting about. Because that's what all makes people want to follow each other, is they want it. It's still all about people, right? It's still a people connection. So it's a business posting platform, but with a very human side to it. And then being able to do that all efficiently. And so that's been the big difference. And the other thing I would mention, this is just stepping back a little bit from LinkedIn, for people who have early stage companies, the thing that really made a difference for me was aligning with a group that already had connections in the space I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be in hospitality because they pay the water bill and they have a lot of toilets. And they also have varying occupancy. So they have different people using the toilets differently all the time. So that was an ideal market for us. But I didn't know anything about the hospitality industry other than the hotels I had stayed in over my lifetime. And so aligning with a group like Gain that has top leadership that's steeped in hospitality, in all different aspects of hospitality, with decades of relationships, could really educate me in the terminology, what works, what doesn't. It just to me, it really enabled us to take a product that was a perfect fit for hospitality and gain traction in a much shorter period of time. So I think that it's really important for early stage startups. Align yourself with somebody who knows the industry you're trying to be in and is an expert there, and is going to represent you in a way that you want to be represented when you're not in the room. It's so important. It'll make or break your company, whether your company exists, and how much money it's going to take to get there, and how long it's going to take to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think strategic partnerships are something that too many people overlook. So getting, sales pipeline and being very focused on that, of course, is important, but don't forget that strategic partnerships, people that aren't your direct clients but have access to your direct clients, or like you say, can speak about you when you're not in the room, and that can be an advisor, or it can be a peer, or it can be your cohort group from last year from the E20X, right? Those relationships are absolute gold for support, for networking, for future pipeline for your business. It's so important. So wow, we've covered a lot for startups, and I think the full circle moment for you had to be coming back this year to High Tech and actually mentoring the E20X cohort from this year, which is absolutely incredible. So what's next for you, Susan?
That was just such a rewarding opportunity. First of all, to be able to interact with people who were part of what I was a part of last year, and to be able to just encourage them and give them some things that I've learned along the way. So, sometimes we all need to learn, right, when we're stepping out into the great unknown, and it can save a lot of time learning from other people's mistakes rather than making the same ones. So, but they were great companies and they were great to work with. So that was really rewarding. And I think next we're excited to be working with SmartCon and to be, growing this partnership and being able to provide toilet leak detection and water savings and money saving solutions to a much, much wider group of hotels and multi-tenant housing property owners and managers. So it's really sticking with our knitting and continuing to grow. I mean, there's other thought leadership things that we're working on, but those are kind of under the hood, so I can't go there, but those will come out sooner or later. But it's really an exciting time. It's really taking advantage of everything we've been building towards over the last several years. So
yeah. Well, it's been a privilege to be part of your journey, and I'm excited to see what the next 12 months hold. So we'll have to circle back in 12 months' time and see what other amazing things.
You'll be a part of it. You'll be a part of it. So, and just appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you. Oh, thanks, Susan. So, if anybody's interested in finding out more about your product, find you on LinkedIn. But also, you as just an amazing person for the industry. Thank you so much for your service to other startups and just to being such a generous person in your community. So, yeah, real pleasure. And if anyone wants to find out more about Gain, LinkedIn services, advisory services, all the above, we're here as well on LinkedIn. And that's a wrap, really, everyone. Thanks so much, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Have a great day. Have a great evening, everybody. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.